Boko up everyone, and welcome to chapter 21 of my Fire Emblem 6 low turn count playthrough. This chapter is basically what we've been working on this whole playthrough, more than the Zephyr map, as this is where our final big benchmarks are at. And yet, there is only one side objective that matters here, and it's the Secret Shop. Chapter 21's Secret Shop is unique in the Fire Emblem series, as it allows to buy every stat boosters of the game. That includes boots. We'll get a lot of boots here. To buy everything that we want and need, we need 100,000 gold. So it's time to sell everything in our convoy and more, keeping the bare minimum. The warp staff, chest key, the member card and silver card, our killer lenses and swords, and 3 javelins. So while we do that, here's a little composition, now that everybody's heard about the boots. Boots. Boots is a word, well of 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 don't you know about the boots? Well, everybody knows that the boots is a word, well of boots. Boots is a word, well of well, if everybody's heard about the boots. Boots is a word, well of 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 don't you know about the boots? Well, everybody's talking about the boots. Well, the boots. Boots is a word, well of boots. Don't you know about the boots? Well, everybody's know that the boots is a word, well, a boots. Boots is a word, well, a boot. Alright, so as I explained on the previous chapter, Lina is now ready to shine, ready to go from baby to carry, as she's promoted to sage. Even if she's promoted now and ready to destroy everything in her way, she still lacks movement, so Shanna will transport her to the left side of the map, and Lalum will dance Shanna to make them go faster. Percival is also going to start carrying Roy. Diane and Shin takes drop Soul ahead so he can warp on next turn, and Niime is transported by Douglas. Diane will then be transported by Melody, who will head to the center of the map. Overall, everyone is just going to go to the left, towards the secret shop. Marinus is going to take everything that Yodel has that can be sold and finish selling our inventory. Talking of Yodel, he just joined with the Malte and the Saint Staff, 2 very good legendary items. Just like Niime, he joins with S-Rank staff and decent enough magic to help with staff utility, including the use of the Saint Staff, and even if he has some fighting ability, he still lacks the durability to be on the front lane. There really isn't much to say about the first enemy phase outside of the kill lens crit of Shanna on the one wyvern that attacks her. Fa was sent to the bottom left to bait out the few enemies there, which will give us more leeway to go towards the boss. On turn 2, Percival will drop Roy as far as he can, and he will be danced straight away by Lalum. Melody will drop Diane, who has a killing edge equipped, in the forest tile in order to prepare for a big trade chain on next turn. Indeed, we plan on warping Roy all the way to the boss, though the problem right now is that we don't have enough warp range to do so. Instead, Soul will give Niime to Roy and warp him, and they will wait around 10 tiles away from the throne. The difficulty now is that we will have to find a way to give the warp staff to Nime. Meanwhile, Shanna keeps heading for the secret shop and will drop Lina on the way. Enemy Phase 2 is much more interesting, and is a very good example to show how good Diane is despite what he looks like. Thanks to the extra void of the forest, he actually has really low chance to get hit by most enemies here. Despite having weapon triangle advantage, the forest wyvern to attack him only has 17% hit rate and the wyvern loads 34%. As a result, he doesn't have an as big chance to die as what it looks like, since he needs to get hit 3 times to die. One of those hits have to be done by the wyvern roll. However, the thing is we want Diane to actually get hit by both of them so that everything targets him after that, so he has an easier way getting out of there on turn 3. He does get a double kill and get rid of the wyvern node that attacks him and kill it too. Lalum also needs to dodge a 55% displayed hit as well. The one thing to know about this map, just like Hook of Destiny in FE7, is that reinforcements trigger when your own units end in certain areas. It's generally very difficult to avoid them unless we use the warp staff. But hey, we still have 5 uses left on it, so we will make sure to avoid them all. Oh, not really. We'll trigger the final one that makes Gale appear, as we need his help on turn 3. His squadron actually cannot attack the player, so we are still safe on enemy phase. Turn 3 is our final turn, and it's finally time to shop. Since this is our only visit to the secret shop, we can actually sell the member card and reach our 100,000 gold objective. We'll get a grand total of 22 pair of boots. These boots will obviously go to our best and most important units: Roy, Shanna, Lina, and Lalum for the most part. But that's not the only things we'll buy here. We also need the butter ring, as well as a few bolting and a purge dome. That's right, the main reason we trained a mage is to have a very good bolting user to destroy bosses from afar, and starting with this map, Lina will be able to shine. But for now, everything is in Nonu's back, so we have to bring it to Lina somehow. Another issue is that, as you may have realized, we can't use stat boosters in preps in this game, unlike most of the Fire Emblem games, so we have to plan out how to use them efficiently. This is fine for characters like Roy and Lina, but how do we do it with, say, Lalum, who needs to dance someone every turn? Well, you find a way to dance her as well. So basically, all the leftover characters will die so Lalum can put on some boots. Thanks Jin, thanks the glass, your sacrifices will allow Lalum to use 3 pair of boots in 1 turn, now sitting at 11 movement. Sophia will get the buttering and Percival will get 1 pair of boots as well. Sol will give the warp staff to Lalum and will begin bringing the warp staff, a pair of boots and the bolting tome to Lina. Lalum gives the package to Zeus, then to Diane, who, thanks to Milady killing the knight on the way with a killer lance crit, can give it all to Lina and use the boots in the process. In order to kill Murdoch in 1 round, we need a double crit from Lina, and she has just enough speed to double Murdoch with a bolting tome. And thanks to the support we got back in chapter 8 between Roy and Lina, she has 3% crit chance and 60% hit rate. To make it even more annoying, Lina also needs magic and speed in her next level, and all that was 4,464 rounds away. Once Murdoch is dead, Nime can warp Roy to the boss room, finishing the mud chapter in 3 turns. And since Zeus and Milady are still alive, we'll see you next time for chapter 21X.